Hi, this is Reasons Are Several, episode 201B. My name is Matt. With me is Neil. Hi, Neil.
Hey, Matador. How are you?
I'm doing okay. You know what I am happy about? I was going to tell you this.
Okay.
The snow's all gone. The fucking snow came again.
But aren't you going to get more here shortly?
No, I think we're okay now. But I thought we were going to make it through this whole season with just a little dusting we had on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And then it showed up, and it was the week of President's Day holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So my kids were off Monday, got sent home, like 3 hours early on Tuesday, and there was no accumulation until that night. You freaking wimps.
That's great.
Their school district's a bunch of wimps because, then the next day they canceled, which I understood because there was some accumulation. It was icy. The day after that, they canceled, which was not necessary. And then Friday, they finally let them go back to school. So they were only in school like a day and a half, day and a quarter. But the because of either last year or the year before when they failed to send people home early enough and everybody got stuck in all this crap, they're so gun shy. They're just well, let's shut it down.
Sure. Yeah, that's what I mean. And it sucks too, because I'm sure plenty of parents were all over them going, if there's even a possibility, I'd rather that they're out of school and we get home safe than being, and they're like, fine, we can do that. Oh, look, it might rain. We're shut down.
Yeah, exactly. Then you get asshole parents like me who are like, get my kids out the door.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, temperature might drop below 47, so we're shutting down school.
It's so annoying. And anytime there's even a whiff of snow, everybody's talking about it. Oh my God, there's supposed to be snow. There's going to be this huge accumulation. It's like, and we're at elevation a little bit. We're at like 500 and change.
Right.
So sometimes we get it more than the floor gets it a little bit. But anyway, I was going to tell our listeners that you might have noticed we didn't put out a full episode.
Well, we didn't pull it out.
We didn't pull it out either.
It's still in there. Just jammed it in there and left it.
Do you want us to pull it out? But yes, we didn't record earlier this week and release a full episode, and Neil will get into the details of that in a minute. But I just wanted to say we're just going to kind of record a little short episode today, just share a couple bits. We'll be back to our regular schedule next week.
Yeah, we just want to touch your couple bits and just let you know that we're all thinking about y'all.
Yeah, just a little.
A little dangle on your dongle. And it wasn't for lack of trying or that we weren't interested in speaking with you all. It just sometimes stuff happens.
Well, it was a combination of factors because you were out of town, and we'll talk about Reno in a minute.
Right, and you were really lazy.
And I was lazy. I did not did not book a replacement guest host.
Oh, no, I meant you just didn't want to record, so you were like, I couldn't get a hold of you. You were just not around.
True. That is not true. So, let's talk about Reno first.
Okay.
So, you went to Reno with Annalise for 3 nights?
Yes. We left Saturday morning, dropped the pups off, and then we were there Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night. Came back on Tuesday.
And you had a slot tourney, which I saw the video of if you go to Halos and Heathens vlog.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
And I thought the best part about that whole video, which, I'm sure it sounded like it was pretty quick. The tournament.
It was a bummer.
The best part about that whole video is that you have a glove.
Yep.
I had two gloves
on. Yeah, I had two. I had both of them on. But slot machines are so gross. I don't like touching them. I'm
surprised you don't bring your own arm, like your own pole.
That's pretty good. That would be funny. Just have a mannequin arm that's, got a little C hand going, and you just, I'm going to use this. Scratch my nose with it. Well, one time I rode with some friends, we all rode our motorcycles up to Tahoe and played some slots and did some gambling, and I got pink eye.
Ooh.
And I was almost sure I got it from touching one of those freaking slots. So now I'm gloves when it comes to slots, baby.
It's all those old birds giving you pink eye.
If I can't wipe it down, like if you're at the bar playing video poker, you can ask them for the bar towel, or they'll have like those sandy naps, and then I'm disinfecting everything.
Well, yes, but I love that you're asking for the bar towel, which, let's be real.
Well, they'll rinse it off, but at least it's got some soap or something on it. Yeah. I mean, it's better than freaking seeing junk on the screen.
Yeah, right.
I mean, at least I smeared the junk around. I thinned it out a bit. It's like I'm tiling the floor. You don't want it all in one big pile. You got to spread it out. Thin set.
But you did not win, unfortunately.
No, it was kind of the slot tournament was a little disappointing. I thought it would take like at least 30 to 45 minutes. I thought they'd give you like a bunch of credits and keep you there and a few drinks and kind of joking around. No, they're like, oh, yeah, you can take 5 minutes, you can take 30 minutes, however long you want to take. And you just go in there and they sit you at one, or you pick your machine, but one machine, you can't go to other machines. To give you 100 credits, and you play them, and then it goes by the points. It's not like a money thing. It goes by points, and they write down your points on a scorecard like golf. You turn it in, and then they're like, yeah, come back Sunday and see if you want anything. Like, all right.
Are you changing the bet amount, or it's all the same bet every time?
It's always two credits. Like if you're playing, $2 or whatever, two quarters, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, oh, because it doesn't, the same amount of people are entered in the slot tournament, whether they give you 100 credits or 100,000 credits. So I didn't understand, like, why not keep people here a little bit longer, make it a little bit more exciting. But I mean, I'm sure they got it dialed in because it's not their first rodeo.
Well, they want you to come and then go play real money.
Right. But it was like, but see, here's the thing. Like, if I didn't go to Reno anyway, we didn't go hang out, and I'm like, oh, this slot tournament sounds fine, and this was it, I'm like, I'm not ever doing this again.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
That's
you know,
true.
it's not,
that's a good point.
Not that exciting. They're like, yeah, do the, what is it? The superhero slots. And it's like, oh, cool. Who's superhero slot tournament? So I thought it was going to be all like superhero slot machines. No, it's just the 3 7s, but they had pictures of superheroes all over the place. I'm like, all right, this is not a superhero slot.
Maybe you should have gone more than gloves. You should have dressed as a superhero.
That would have been pretty solid.
Anyway, did anything else exciting happen in Reno, or just kind of had fun, hung out, ate some good food and stuff?
Yeah, had all you can eat sushi, which was really good. Yeah, just hang out. When we go there, it's kind of like, since there isn't a ton to do, we can actually just relax, and we don't. Yeah, so saw Black Panther while we were there, and in a theater that was like, the chairs were freaking old and broken. It was like like they got the first comfy theater chairs, and then they haven't swapped them out since like the late 90s.
You are so,
beautiful
spoiled
to me.
Was it hard to watch the movie in a non-Skywalker Ranch theater?
It wasn't, because there was only like 6 of us in the theater, and the sound was decent, but it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel it's it's kind of like when you have to come off your mountain and be with the people. You have to, you want to stay grounded. You want to touch the
stay
people.
humble.
Yeah. So I think I went a little too low. Theater in Reno, maybe not.
I can't believe there were only 6 people. When I went, it was just packed.
Yeah, 6 including us. It was also 11:30 a.m. on a Monday.
Yeah, that's true. That would be a little bit more open time. But yes,
in Reno while it was snowing. So
oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, but snowing, you would think. Well, I guess then they don't want to go to the theater. But I was going to say they'd want to be inside. We went on, I think, a Sunday. It was packed, and we went to a place where you could book your seat in advance, just because I didn't want to have to deal with it. We had 5 of us, but it was funny because we ended up sitting in seats kind of way up. We saw it in IMAX, and my view was partially obstructed.
Oh, bummer.
Well, it was only like the bottom little corner, so I was like, well, if I'm missing shit there that's important, then
that's where all the good stuff happened. Yeah.
Right.
So did you have another kid that I don't know about? 5 of you.
We got a third. No, that's my brother was in town.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
no,
he watched with us. Yeah.
Did he enjoy it?
He did. Yeah, I think we all enjoyed it. I mean, I've said before, and I'm sure people roll their eyes, I'm not a big comic book guy, so I don't know the history of these things. I'm not anticipating the movie. I don't know anything about it. Mm-hmm. But that said, it was, I mean, I'm trying to think of other Marvel movies I've seen. It would be the best one for me so far, for sure, because it felt like more than just a superhero movie, and it just grabbed you from the start, and it had so many cool elements. It was like, they had all the tech stuff. Mm-hmm. It had kind of that James Bondy feel with some of that stuff, and his sister. Oh, by the way, spoilers. And I just thought it was really well done. I have one gripe, but I want to know what you thought of it.
I really liked it. The neat thing about it was I thought you could take the superhero aspect of it and just make him who he was, not the Black Panther, and have everybody else have regular parts, and the movie would have totally held up. It would have been a really good movie. So it didn't feel like a typical superhero movie where the point wasn't him being a superhero. He just happened to also be a superhero, which I thought was a really cool way to go about it. But I thought it was a great movie. I really, really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it was really more about him being king than him being superhero.
Yeah.
I wasn't huge on the CIA guy, Martin Freeman. That whole piece of the story was kind of,
Yeah.
But the bigger issue I had, and I was talking to my brother about this, is I'm sure there's reasoning for them doing this, and the fact also that Infinity War movie's coming out soon. That should have been 2 movies. Like, that should have been...
Black Panther should be 2 movies?
Black Panther could have easily been 2 movies.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
You could have built it up to where, and again, spoilers, where Killmonger takes the throne,
becomes king,
and then ended the movie.
And that's it.
And then you could have gotten the next whole movie could have been him bringing him back, building up and coming, because they just didn't give. And again, I don't know this. I don't know the story, so I don't. Maybe I'm. It's just that's the way it was. But it just didn't give enough screen time, I think, for the Killmonger character, and for him to show like what he was even trying to do with the throne. It was all. It all just felt rushed. It was like they ran off to find T'Challa and bring him back, and by then Killmonger's like, "Let's get this shit out there right now." It's like, he was moving pretty quick.
Yeah, so. I did a little research after because I was curious to know if Killmonger was really dead or if they're gonna bring him back somehow since he had the Black Panther juice in his veins.
Yeah.
And I found a couple cool articles where they were saying that was the point from the beginning was they wanted to make Killmonger a pretty big part of the movie, but that he'd be gone. Like they wanted to do it a little bit differently. And they also, because of what he's supposed to represent and do, that any Black Panther movie to come up next or anything that Black Panther would be in Marvel, if Killmonger's there, it's like the story's already told. It's not like all of a sudden Killmonger's going to go, well, I decided not to do this. I'm going to do this instead. So it's like, we got it. You want the throne. So they'd be the same fight over and over. And the director was like, I didn't want to open that door. So I wanted to get rid of him. But yeah, I kind of like the fact that it gave you a little bit of the feeling of like, oh, that's it. I want more versus if it would have been, and I'm sure they could have done it and done it well, but if it would have been 2 movies and you're like, yeah, we get it. Killmonger wants to do this. We got it. Move on, So I don't know if it's totally rushed or it would have been nice to have a little bit more, but I like the feeling of wishing I got more versus feeling like I got too much.
Well, and that's why, that's a fair point. My thinking was it would leave you with the ultimate cliffhanger and wanting to see that next movie so badly because everything would be hanging in the balance. And it was just that piece where he's on the throne that felt rushed. The rest of the movie was great. The pacing was awesome. The scenes were great. It just and the characters are all really, really good. Like I'm gonna mess up the name. Is it M'Baka? The dude who is in the mountains. That guy was fucking awesome.
Yeah, they were all great.
His sister was great.
Yeah,
it was. They were all good. Yeah.
The one that scene where he's sitting on the throne and barks out orders and goes, let's get it done. And he just sat there. It's weird because there wasn't any, I guess we can take it for granted that he knew because he studied it so much, he could know, but it's like, there was never any question of like, even if you would have said, how long will it take us to get these out? And somebody says, well, by going by the proper protocols and this and that, it could be 6 months. And he says, well, what is the proper protocol? And they tell him, and he's like, no, F that. I want to do it in 3 days. I don't care what it takes. Then at least it would have been like, oh, he doesn't, because how the hell does he know how everything's run? They could have said like, no, man, we don't keep these things stacked up. We got to build them.
Well, I mean, the urgency on his part is totally understood. Like that makes sense. He's been waiting to have this opportunity, and he wants to get this shit going now because he's seen all this horrible stuff and he wants to, act on it. So I get that. I just when I got to the end of the movie, I thought they really maybe you wouldn't have had as much in the second movie as the build up in the first, but I just thought that it would have been a good cut line there to have him basically win the throne and then they're all, it's almost like the ending of Empire Strikes Back or something. You're left with this feeling of, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen now because shit's bad.
Right.
But even with that said, really good movie. And I really loved it.
Yeah. They could have even, and the end scene after the credits could have been the dude up in the mountain standing over the pit of ice. And all you see is like hands and feet coming out of the ice. It's like, oh wait, is that him or who is that? Could that be someone else?
That's good. I actually missed the end credits scene. I can't remember what it was now because I got kids and they have to go to the bathroom. So
right. They were both good. It was good.
Let's go.
But no, I thought it was I think it's my favorite superhero movie as far as the movie is concerned. Not as far as a superhero is concerned. Like, gotcha. I love Batman, so Batman movies come out, and I just think it's great because I'm a Batman fan.
Yeah, there's a couple of Batman movies I like. The rest, I don't really give a shit about. The one with Heath Ledger is fucking fantastic.
Oh, it's great, and I really like Deadpool because he's such a weird character. But this, oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
but this as a movie was just, they did it so well. They did everything so well without beating you over the head with anything.
Yeah.
It was great. And of course, anytime I can see like rhinoceroses in, armor, it's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. Those kind of battle scenes had a little bit of a like Lord of the Rings vibe to them and a little bit of a Braveheart vibe to them.
Yeah, they definitely had I never saw Lord of the Rings. So the Braveheart thing was definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was all, I thought it was all really well done. And I'm interested to see how they use those characters in the Infinity War movie.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool how they used the Black Panther character in the last Marvel Superheroes Unite or whatever the hell it was called. Avengers.
Was that the Civil War one?
I think, yeah.
Was he in that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Cause I only saw bits of that. And see,
the scene where they show him with his father at the embassy where his father dies, that was in Infinity.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Civil
that.
War.
So see, I don't know shit. I don't know anything about this stuff.
And he shows up in the Black Panther costume for a little bit in Civil War.
Okay, gotcha. Because see, when they throw all those characters together, I don't like it as much.
It's tough.
I like to focus on one character, maybe two.
It's tough because if you're not exactly a comic book fan and don't know the stories, then you're like, what the hell are all these people doing? Exactly. Why is that person mad at that person?
Well, it just looks like the most hilarious like cosplay event ever.
It looks like dudes and chicks that like won't let Halloween go. You're like,
it's just a Comic-Con, but they actually have powers.
Yeah. And then what's even more weird is when they're walking dressed up amongst regular people. I'm like, okay, this is,
particularly
you wouldn't change.
Right. And particularly like Captain America is the funniest looking dude to me because the thing that comes over his head, it looks like he's wearing like a condom over his head or something. Yeah. It's just pulling his face back so hard. It's the most goofy looking fucking costume I've ever seen.
That's the one good thing about Iron Man is that he's only in the suit when he's in the suit. Like he doesn't have to walk around talking to people dressed up as Iron Man. That's the other thing I like about Black Panther is that he's not in his freaking super suit all the time.
Right.
He's,
Yeah. Yeah. Like that casino scene. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah. That was good.
Yeah.
It's a good fight scene.
Yeah, it was.
Chickies kicked ass in this movie. That was awesome.
They did. Big time. So anyway, but I really enjoyed it. But then after that, you came home.
Came home and picked up the pups from the boarding. I was going to say daycare, but whatever. Picked them up from boarding. Got them home. And whenever they come back from boarding, no matter how short of a stay or long of a stay it is, their stomachs are a little queasy. It's kind of normal with a lot of dogs. Their stomachs are a little queasy, especially since it's a long drive to get them back. They've had so much different and so much more stimulation that they get here. They usually have they might throw up a couple times, might have a little diarrhea, and then by the next day, they'll like sleep for freaking 18 hours. Then by the next day, they're typically like, okay, we're good. Just getting settled back in. So Zero was acting. He got there. He was fine, jumping around, gets in the back of the car, does his normal thing. We're all good. Get here. He's running around for about, 5 or 10 minutes, and then just starts throwing up. And I was like, okay, this is his regular thing. And there was some other stuff going on with his other end, which was a little disconcerting. And I'm like,
well, I was gonna say, for those who don't know too, he's your 5-year-old pit bull. Zero.
Oh yes, sorry,
and you hear him on this show quite often.
Yeah, you're not going to hear him today because he's passed out.
Right.
So needless to say, he wasn't able to hold down water for longer than about 15 seconds. He drank a ton, and then just water would just come out his nose and his mouth. So I called the vet Tuesday evening and said, hey, this is what's going on. And they said, you guys, should I bring him in? And they're like, well, let's just wait because all we'd really have you do is, watch him anyway because, we don't, he's still moving, he's breathing, his gums are still pink, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So the next day I went to work and came home early to check on him. And he was not doing too well, and out of his rear end was coming like if you cut your finger blood, like it was just blood. And so I'm like, okay, this is something's obvious. I mean, I'm glad I saw it, because if I was inside and he would have went outside, I wouldn't have known,
Yeah, right.
But I was following him around. So took him to the vet, and fortunately, the vet who's the head of surgery at the hospital that's attached to the vet where we go to, she's the one that helped with Seven, and she's the one that takes care of the cats. And so made an emergency visit, went in right away, and we were going to see a different vet, but she saw we were on the chart, so she came in.
Nice.
And which is cool, because she's actually the first vet that saw Zero when Zero was a little puppy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, I think it might be this thing called, I forget what it's, ASDH, I don't know, something. She goes, where it's pretty much that the inside, his stomach, his intestines, and his colon are ulcerating.
Yeah.
And he's kind of bleeding from the inside out, which will make him extremely dehydrated, and he could be, usually takes dogs only about 36 hours to die from this, because their organs shut down from dehydration.
Did he show any of these signs when he was at the care?
No, because the vet places, or the boarding place, obviously they never want a dog to be sick, and they don't want the dogs to get other dogs sick. So as soon as one dog shows something that's a little out of the ordinary, they isolate him and call the vet in, because and they tell you, they're like, we're not going to sit here and wait. So if something's wrong, we're bringing somebody in, and you're paying for it. Which is. Yeah. So there's no way they'd let him, if, he had stuff coming out of his butt and puking everything, that they'd be like, oh, he's
somebody would have,
fine.
they would have given him care there. Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that 9 came back and she was fine, aside from a little queasy at first. She was,
right.
Good
to go.
So anyway, so had to have a blood test, and found out that so the way that works is the test for this is like a reverse of a test to find out if you're anemic, as opposed to a low, CPC or compact platelet count, whatever, and going like, oh, you don't have enough blood cells. It's you have way too many because there isn't enough water in your system.
Gotcha.
So it's one of those things that I think, if I remember, I have it written down somewhere, but it's like 40-ish or mid 40s is normal. 50s is high, 60s is really high, and then 70 is like, you're going to be dead soon. He was at 67.
Oh, man.
So she's like, we have to get him back there now. So,
and this is all Tuesday night.
This is all Wednesday morning.
Oh, Wednesday,
early
afternoon. You took him in,
yeah,
that's right.
Right. So go back there, and she's like, we got to pump him full of liquids, electrolytes, painkiller, antibiotics, and nausea medication. Mm-hmm. So and she's like, and there's a possibility he might be here for 5 days. If things work out, we're going to, we'll keep testing the blood and make sure it's not something else, and we'll see. And she goes, of all the dogs that I've had that I've gotten in time for this, I've never lost one. She goes, so I don't see that happen. She goes, but the problem can be that we can fix it. You get home and it starts over again. And then the dog just can't be fixed. So you got to think about that.
And didn't you take him home just for a little bit? Was it that night or the next night?
So, so took him, so she checked him in. I think it was around 11 a.m. Checked him into the hospital. He was there till 9. His numbers came down to 50 almost immediately.
Okay.
So she's like, oh, this is really good. He's responding really well. She said, how do you feel about taking him home and watching him so he can be home and relax a little bit, and then bring him back in the morning and we'll do it again, as opposed to being here, all night long, because he's nervous. And I said, yeah. So came home that night. He was fine. Took him back Thursday morning at 6 a.m. They hooked him up to the machines, picked him up last night. And the vet said, if he can make it overnight last night and he eats a little bit and I can give him his medication and he's still drinking and his butt's not exploding, right. He can stay and I can just watch him. So today is the day that we're both home, and
Gotcha.
He's been able to eat, and he looks like he's on the mend. So hopefully he won't relapse. And
yeah, that's good to hear. That's scary.
Yeah. It's a trip because, we don't have kids and we're super attached to our dogs. We know they're dogs, but it was weird to drop them off when she was like, we'll know soon if there's anything we can do.
Yeah. And I was sitting there waiting.
I'm like, okay. So, and I remember, and I told her too, I said, if he's in a lot of pain and super uncomfortable and you can't make him comfortable for me to get here,
right?
It's okay to let him go because I don't want. He's going to be freaked out and feeling crazy.
Well, because he's already an anxious dog. He gets nervous, so it's just going to make it worse. Yeah,
but
tough.
It's weird then to come home and you just think like, you're never ready to say goodbye, but I'm like, I'm not ready to lose him today.
Yeah.
So, and then 9 could care less. She was like, where is he? Does he still exist? I don't know.
Right. I got issues with object permanence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I had to take both, my cats in, knowing what was happening. Yeah. And I didn't think it was going to hit me like it did.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I had kids, so it wasn't like, I'm not saying that the attachment's greater or
not.
But
it's totally different.
But it's still a living being that you're attached to, and so it hit me so hard both times. You know, especially the first time because I think it was the first time I had to do one of those situations, and it just kind of overcomes you.
Yeah, when my cat a long time ago when that happened too, and I was totally bummed and devastated, but I'm like, oh, whatever, that sucks, and kind of got over it. And then when 7 went through it and he had to be put down, I'm like, oh, well, I know how I'm going to feel because I went through this with my cat. And no, 7 was a totally different deal. So then with this, I'm like, oh my God, I am not ready to feel that way again.
Yeah.
So if we could just hold off, but
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well,
and the stupid little things never tell you what's wrong. I'm like, dude, if you would have just said like, I'm really not feeling well. Can you take me to the doctor? I totally would have.
Yeah. Just give you a little tap on the shoulder.
Yeah,
dude,
buddy. Let's
my
go.
ass is not good and my stomach is killing me.
Can you not see water coming out of my nose? Yeah, you're all right. Don't worry about it, buddy.
Look, can you put down the racing video game?
Right.
And take me to the motherfucking doctor. God, I don't ask for much here.
About this goddamn vlog. Okay, just stop it for a second and take me to the doctor.
He's like, do not film me on the way to this place or at the place.
Well, it was funny because in my head, I'm like, should I videotape this? Because I thought it was going to get there and they'd say like, oh, he ate something. He ate freaking raccoon poop. He'll be fine, Yeah. And then I could, but then I'm like, no, something's really wrong.
You can tell, yeah.
The funny thing is he was the first night back from the, what do you call it? The vet. They had a catheter in his arm so they could just plug him in with all the stuff when he went back. And he totally left it alone. So when we came back from the vet yesterday, she said, I'm going to leave the catheter in again just in case he doesn't have a good night and you have to bring him back in. So checked on him all night long and tried to get a little bit of sleep, and then woke up this morning with Annalise when she got ready to go to work. And she's like, hey, I just went and checked on Zero and he took his catheter out.
Oh.
And I go and look and he removed all the bandages and the whole thing like a little surgeon.
And put it in the trash can.
It was all piled up very nicely, but he wanted no part of it. And I was like, oh, so the vet texted me today and she's like, hey, I see Zero's not here. So how's he doing? So I sent her a picture of the pile of stuff. And she goes, well, that takes care of that. Because she said, if he's fine, bring him back midday and we'll just take it out,
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, apparently he didn't want to go back. Yeah. So.
Well, I'm glad he's doing better. Hopefully he is fully healed by next week.
Yeah. Hopefully everything goes well.
But that's the long version of the story of why we didn't record earlier this week.
That's it. It was all because of Black Panther.
It's Black Panther's fault. We were actually going to record on Wednesday just because of the travel schedule with Neil, but then all this stuff happened. So we actually weren't even going to record anything at all, but Neil thought it was a good idea to give a little update. So the only other thing I was going to mention is just it's a little self-promotion. So last week, I think it was just this last week, there was the most recent episode of Our Liner Notes with Chris Meyer was put out, and I'm on it. It's a mixtape episode, which is pretty funny because he asks you a bunch of questions about different things like what would be your intro song and what's a song that makes you feel sad or what, all these different things. So it's a crazy mix of songs. I think people are probably like, what is wrong with this guy? He's like a schizophrenic.
Right.
So go check that out. I mean, it's a couple hours because we had a really good conversation, but go check out Our Liner Notes. I think it's episode 76. So
I will be listening to that.
You should absolutely do one of those too sometime.
I think it would be great if to do it, but give the same song for every question.
Oh! I thought you meant the same one as I did. You mean the same exact song every time?
Yeah, just that would be "Born in the USA" by Bruce Springsteen.
Living on a
What song
prayer.
makes you really happy? Oh, that would be "Born in the USA" by
What
Bruce
song
Springsteen.
makes you sad?
Oh, that would be "Born in the USA" by Bruce Springsteen. After about the 16th question, he's like, you can just say "Born in the USA" by Bruce Springsteen.
Right. You don't have to say it.
I don't want to get you confused by some other "Born in the USA." It's
Here
not
it
a
is
Kid Rock
again.
song.
Born in the USA.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for listening. You can find us at reasonsareseveral.com, and we're on iTunes and Stitcher, so go subscribe and review, please. You can tweet at us. We forgot to say at the top, at reasonsr. Neil is at angelsfreak7. You can email us at reasonsareseveral@gmail.com. Next week, we'll be back to normal. We've got... So the normal stuff, we'll have some NASCAR minutes. We'll have some, I think we're talking March movies. There's a little bit of NFL Combine stuff I want to talk about. So a lot of our usual type topics for next week. But thanks for bearing with us on this kind of slightly different schedule this week. And we'll be back next week. Thanks a lot, Neil.
Thank you, Matador.
Feel better, Zero.